Hey everybody, Mike here with Backpacking TV. Today we're talking about hiking shoes and you. So this is kind of the kickoff of the summer hiking season. You're seeing people start to get kitted up for that, and oftentimes this time of year you'll see the same search terms, best hiking shoes 2025. So what I'm really hoping to do in this video is I'm hoping to kind of get rid of that mindset that you might have about perfect. Perfect isn't a thing. What is the best for you is what you can afford and what's right for your style of hiking. So let's take a look at a few different categories here that you might want to consider when looking for that shoe that's going to be good enough for you. That was cheesy, wasn't it? Good shoes are kind of expensive. I would expect to spend anywhere between 90 to 160 bucks. You don't have to have the most expensive thing in the world to get out there and enjoy hiking. So what I'd suggest is find a range that you're comfortable spending and then only look within that range. Don't torture yourself by looking at the $250 pair of shoes that you just don't want to spend that much money on, because honestly, the curve of diminishing returns is real. So next up, we're going to talk about what kind of hiking you specifically are looking to do. Some people approach it from the ultralight side, where they try to go as lightweight as possible. Then you've got your average everyday hiker. Nothing wrong with being an average everyday hiker. This is the bulk of the stuff that you're going to find, especially at an REI or a Bass Pro Shop. And then you've got heavy duty, long distance trekkers, people who are doing very technical terrain who need more support. And those kinds of crowds are probably going to look for a more supportive, taller boot. The ultralight crowd really likes running shoes. They like trail runners. They like anything that's super lightweight. This right here would be a good example. This is a Merrell Moab, Moab Speed. That's it. This is a Merrell Moab Speed. Now, this is my old shoe here. I got it for a Spartan race. It's great. It fits my foot like a dream. It's like walking on clouds, and it weighs nothing. It's like being barefoot, but it gets torn to pieces. You can see how worn down this is. Look at that. There's almost no grip left on there. There's a bunch of rips and cuts on the outside here, and a lot of this happened in the very first race. They're not exactly built to last because there's just not enough material in them to last. So if you're somebody who's more of a day hiker, that's awesome, because most of the footwear market is going to be tailored specifically to you. Let's take a look at something like this. This is Ozolo. Ozolo makes a really good middle of the road kind of shoe. So this is a great shoe here. I wore this when I was off in Costa Rica. I was out in the jungle. This is a waterproof shoe. It's got great grip. It's heavy. You look at this thing, maybe it doesn't seem that heavy, but you can tell it's heavier than a regular shoe its size would be, and that's because it is built to last. Honestly, I think if you're going to buy a shoe, not this exact brand, not this exact shoe, but something like this that's going to kind of be a good all-arounder for you. And then you'll move up into the world of lightweight boots. I'm not going to go into the super heavyweight boots because we're going to try to keep this, a little more cash. But something like this, super recommendation here. If you want boots, if you want something that's a little bit more stable, then this is great. But the idea is that you're trading that weight for something that's going to give you a little bit more stability whenever you're hiking on technical terrain. But it does weigh more. You're definitely going to feel this. Waterproofing is something that we want to talk about too. You might see the word Gore-Tex printed on pretty much everything. Something to remember about Gore-Tex is that it is going to keep water out, but it's also going to keep moisture from escaping. So expect to have a slightly swampier foot. Expect for your shoes to dry even slower whenever you take a slosher and you get water down in through the top. Gore-Tex is kind of a double-edged sword, and I know people that have sworn off it completely. To me, it isn't so hot that it really bothers me, but I think when you wear heavier boots, you can really tell what's Gore-Tex and what's not. And the last thing that I want to talk about here is your specific foot and how footwear is going to fit you versus other people. So something I want you to consider is the term pronation as well as supination. Pronation means that you take a step, and just because of the way your foot works, your foot angles in this way, and then supination is going to be very similar, but instead it goes out that way. So because all of our feet are different, a shoe that might fit somebody else and be a perfect fit for them just might not work for you. What I try to look for when I am taking a step, I want that step to feel super solid. I don't want to feel like my foot is still searching for balance long after it's hit the ground. I kind of get that with these. I kind of get that feeling. I take a step and it's like my foot's like, for just a second. So look for that when you're buying a shoe. Make sure that when you take a step, you can really feel the grip. And if you just can't find a shoe that does that, it might be a good idea to use this little hack. So what you can do is you can go to running stores because they're serious about pronation and supination. You go to a running store, especially maybe like a mom and pop one. I think Fleet Feet might do this too, but they will actually take a look at your foot. Some of them have like cameras and equipment and stuff, and they'll help you get insoles that match your specific foot. And you can bring your hiking shoes in. So you can have them analyze your foot when you're taking a step in those hiking shoes, and then they can recommend some kind of insole or insert or something that's going to help you really get that traction that you're looking for. I'm a big fan of this. My only thing is, if you're going to do this, buy the insole there. Don't take the knowledge they give you and then turn around and buy it somewhere else. Buy it there. They're helping you, so don't rip them off like that. Yeah, and that's about it for this one. At the end of the day, what I want this video to do is just kind of ease your mind. There is no perfect answer. There are a lot of right answers. There are a lot of good enough answers, but there is no perfect answer on what's the best shoe. Really, what's the best anything. And that kind of mindset, you'll just drive yourself crazy thinking about what's the absolute best. Don't worry about it. Grass is always greener. Get something that's within your price range. Get something that's good enough. And most importantly, get out there and have fun and be safe. And until next time, I'm Mike with Backpacking TV, and I'll catch you later.